Today, GPU demand is plummeting. AMD's next-gen Behemoth is here. Intel officially shows off their high-end desktop GPU, and Ryzen 7000 gaming performance is, quote, amazing? Welcome everyone to Gamer Melt. First up for today, things are not looking good for Intel, AMD, or Nvidia, and that may be great news for gamers. According to a new report from DigiTimes and later by WCCF Tech, shipment revisions for AMD, Intel, and Nvidia are happening thanks to revenue predictions. Intel apparently expects a decrease of $8 to $11 billion in income. AMD reportedly expects shipment drops as high as 16%, but get this, Taiwanese GPU providers allegedly expect a drop by close to 50%, and DigiTimes states that it will make Nvidia's income drop, quote, at a pace beyond imagination. This is apparently thanks to the decline in demand due to the end of the pandemic, as well as the fall in cryptocurrencies. Either way, the sliver of good news is that this could mean we will continue to see GPU prices fall. In fact, with such a fast drop in demand, GPU makers could be left with even more stock than we originally thought. Obviously, they'll ramp down production, but this could have come too quickly, so prices may continue to fall, especially given next-gen cards are rumored to be released in the next few months. Of course, gamers likely have some pent-up demand as prices were so high for so long, but probably not this much. I guess all we can do now is hope. But first, you're not gonna believe this. Micro Center is giving my viewers a free pair of Red Dragon stereo speakers. All you have to do is visit my link in the description, get the coupon, and bring it to your nearest store. It's for new customers only, but if that's not enough to get you to check them out, you should know that Micro Center is where I went to get parts for my first ever PC build. And to think that they're sponsoring my channel is honestly surreal, to which this is a sponsored video, but I'm so happy to do it because Micro Center is awesome. It has everything you could want to build your PC. They literally have aisles dedicated to water cooling. That's how amazing this place is. Not only that, but when you submit your build to their build showcase, you'll get another coupon for your next Micro Center in-store purchase. So what are you waiting for? Visit my link in the description to get your free gift today. Next up for today, AMD's next-gen behemoth of a CPU has been leaked. The story comes from a hardware tester on Twitter and later reported by Video Cards. And as you can see, the user claims the EPYC Genoa official version is ready. Then he responds with an image of the EPYC 9654 CPU. According to Video Cards, this is a behemoth 96-core CPU with up to a 360-watt CDP. It's apparently already available in a retail version for OEMs. For those who don't know, the 192-thread Zen 4 CPU has a whopping 50% more threads than AMD's current high-end EPYC part. What's wild is that this was made to go against Intel's Sapphire Rapid server chips, yet Intel looks to be having delays. A CPU like this would essentially leapfrog Intel by a big margin. Unfortunately, it will require a new socket, but AMD is clearly furthering their push into the server space. According to the tweet, the CPU should be released alongside their Ryzen 7000 parts, or at least right around the same time. Next up, it looks like Intel is finally sharing some gaming benchmarks on their higher-end Arc GPUs. In an official new video from the company, Ryan Shroud and Tom Peterson go over Intel's upcoming A750 GPU. In it, they actually go through some benchmarks in the video as well, but it's towards the end where things get interesting. They actually show benchmarks in over 40 games, and starting things off at 1080p and DX12, we can see that Intel's A750 trades blows with Nvidia's RTX 3060. When we move over to 1440p, the A750 is around 5% faster on average than the 3060. And when we move to Vulkan, we see a similar story. Basically, performance looks to be right at what was rumored, though of course we know that Intel is still having major driver issues. That, and they actually claim these games weren't cherry-picked, but of course take that with a grain of salt. Ultimately, I think Intel's A750 challenging the 3060 isn't that bad. I mean, the 3060 is a great mid-range GPU, and given this is Intel's first real jump into this, I'm honestly fairly impressed. The important part in the end will be price, but they can't just slightly undercut Nvidia because we know that Nvidia's drivers are going to be better. Intel has even admitted a lack of support for DX11 games, and don't get me wrong, that's understandable. This is a first-gen product, while AMD and Nvidia have been at at this for decades, but if Intel comes in swinging, it could be a great product as well. And it may be good that they're aiming for the lower end, given next-gen cards will likely come in the higher-end versions first. Time, as always, will tell. And lastly for today, a news story seems to suggest AMD's next-gen Ryzen 7000 CPUs are a serious gaming contender. The story comes from resident leaker Greymon55, where he claims to have heard that the price of AMD's 5800X 3D will be reduced next month. He then further claims to believe Zen 4 or Ryzen 7000 gaming will be, quote, amazing. And of course, if AMD is in fact reducing the price of their 5800X 3D, something is clearly happening. Plus, let's not forget that we know it can at least get to 5.5 GHz, with rumors saying up to 5.7 GHz stock. That's a whopping 800 MHz higher than last gen, which gives Ryzen 7000 a 16% increase from clocks alone. And given the overclocking potential, we could be seeing a full 1 GHz higher. Now, we know that AMD is likely getting much of their performance boost from clocks alone, but the move to 5 nanometers should give us at least some IPC boost, unless of course all that space was taken up by the iGPU. And when we compare this to Intel's 13th gen CPUs, it looks like most of their performance will be from adding cores, meaning their single core performance likely won't increase much. And given games don't go anywhere near 16 cores, I think things may actually switch between Intel and AMD, meaning Intel will likely win in professional workloads with more cores, while AMD could take the gaming crown. Of course, this is just a prediction based on what we're seeing right now. We'll have to wait and see how it goes when the CPUs actually release. And to stay up on that, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. So while that does it for today, who do you think will come out on top with next-gen CPUs? AMD or Intel? Let me know down in the comments below. And make sure to get your free gift down in the description below. And as always, have a great day.